globally. I am Wahiga Gachinga, a certified leadership coach and trainer, your sergeant at arms for the meeting. We provide a supportive and positive learning environment in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak is a premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. We have our timer who has a virtual hand raised so we can all immediately see who is keeping time. Our Toastmaster of the day, who will be leading our meeting today, is Jyothi Thomas. Jyothi is a social impact entrepreneur and consultant dedicated to designing and executing initiatives that create lasting community impact. She is a seasoned certified soft skills trainer, facilitator, and a motivational speaker. Toastmasters and guests, please help me welcome Jyothi Thomas.
Thank you very much, Lydiah, for those kind words. It's a beautiful day. Take a look at it. We have 40 people right here. Welcome, self-directed leaders, and the most distinguished guests who are here. I'm signing in from India, and in India, we always say, Aditi Devo Bhava. For us, guests are like divine. Welcome, wonderful guests. You indeed made our day. May I now quickly request Zara to post the guest book on the chat box. So as our guests are there, they would take a minute to fill out, and we will have our founder, DTM Brahmamon, who would be happy to meet with you all at the end of the session. And we definitely would like to stay in touch with you. Moving on. It's a wonderful day. Why? Today's theme: leadership that catalyzes success. What makes a leader unforgettable? It's not their title or position, but their ability to ignite change and act as a catalyst for success. Great leaders don't just shine themselves, they spark growth in others, build trust, create ripples of transformation that last far beyond their presence. At Leadership Speak, we believe leadership is not a rank, but a mindset. Every time we meet on a Tuesday or a Thursday and a Saturday, any day, it is all about authenticity, critical thinking. We make sure we are leaders that catalyze success. We also make sure to check, how do leaders avoid the blind spots? How do they stay connected to reason behind what they do? The answer lies in self-awareness. Fellow Toastmasters, listening with empathy and staying anchored to a clear vision and authentic purpose is what this club, our very own premier club, Leadership Speak, believes and works towards. It's wonderful to have each and every one of you here, and I'm sure I can ask you, as you leave, when we are done at the end of it, we always talk about legacy that is out there forever. Ask ourselves, let us all sit up at the end of the session and ask, are we simply leading, or igniting something that's even greater. Today's session, leadership that catalyzes success. And I'm sure you will all have the most wonderful day engaging with what we all have to share. Now I would like to move on to introduce and call upon Toastmaster Lydiah Wanjiku, who will propose the toast. Toastmaster Lydiah. Thank you. The virtual stage is yours.
Today, we will explore a kind of leadership that not only guides in leadership, it ignites the fire. That fire that drives, and that is leadership that catalyzes success. Let me give you my personal story. When I joined Leadership Speak, I was quiet, uncomfortable at the back, listening to speeches. My first role in Leadership Speak was Sergeant at Arms. My hands were trembling. My heart was beating. I was sweating, and Nairobi was cold. A Toastmaster in this room, that is none other than Queen Sandra Valks. She chatted me and she told me, Lydiah, you have the confidence. You can do it. Do it. And to date, it rings at the back of my mind. Even in the office, when I have presentations to make, I remember those powerful words from Sandra Valks. You can do it. Do it with confidence. Fellow Toastmasters and our distinguished guests, at Leadership Speak, we are self-directed leaders who practice leadership that catalyzes success. And this is because real leaders, they do not just lead, they ignite. Because leadership is not only about titles, positions, or even flowcharts. It is about inspiring one another, igniting with confidence. You become a catalyst so that we can all succeed. So today, let us raise our glasses and toast to that kind of leadership that listens, elevates, and multiplies success by investing in people, not just outcomes. Let us all purpose to be the great leaders that catalyzes success. Ladies and gentlemen, please unmute, open your videos, and raise your glasses. I'm sure you filled your glasses, and toast to leadership that catalyzes success.
To leadership.
Leadership that catalyzes success. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much. You certainly did ignite the start of the session. At Leadership Speak, we truly are the catalyst that takes us towards success. Thank you very much, Lydiah, for that toast. Now moving on are our very key role players. I would like to now call upon Toastmaster Nicole Miller and request her to explain her role, please. Over to you, Nicole.
As the timer, it's my responsibility to ensure that the meeting runs on time. As such, I will be doing the timing in the background and posting them in the chat for each speaker. Please be guided by the agenda, as the timer's report will be based on that which is in the agenda. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Especially, I saw that you were very keen about wrap up to make sure things go on time. Appreciate that. Moving on to the next role player, our very own grammarian. May I request Toastmaster Joyce to kindly explain her role?
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, and thoughts. As a grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And for today's meeting, the word of the day is ignite, meaning to set something on fire, literally or metaphorically. In leadership, it means to spark passions, ideas, action, or transformation. And an example in a sentence, great leaders don't wait for change, they ignite it. Each participant and any speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian report when called upon during the meeting, and also report the usage of the word of the day. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Joyce, for coming up with a wonderful word, ignite. And I'm sure that all of us will be mindful of using the word too. So that was the timer and the grammarian who just mentioned their roles. It's lovely to see there are 47 of us right here, and there are many guests signing up. Please go ahead and fill out the guest book. We would like to connect with you at the end of the session. Now comes the very important point, a segment which is very special here at Leadership Speak, the educational speaker. Today, our educational speaker is Toastmaster Nocawe. Toastmaster Nocawe, are you there? Thank you very much. Welcome. I would now like to call upon her speech evaluator, our very own DTM, Vinod Panikar. Can he be spotlighted there, please?
Thank
How
you,
are you all doing?
Toastmaster.
Thank you. It's lovely to see everybody so prepared. May I request you to kindly read the purpose of the speech, please?
Yeah, Toastmaster Nocawe would be presenting her speech from the Path Visionary Communication. It would be preparing to speak professionally, level 5 speech, present a keynote style speech exemplifying a professional level speaker's point of view or message that in a style that supports the speech content. And Nocawe has specifically mentioned everyone to focus, give feedback on the confidence and content and pause. Thank you. Best wishes, Nocawe. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, DTM Vinod. Bright. Toastmaster Nocawe, your spark, Toastmaster Nocawe, over to you.
Are you leading to be important? Or are you leading to make an impact? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, kindly journey with me to this imaginary world. Please close your eyes and allow me to be the pilot of this ship. I believe your eyes are closed. Imagine being seated quietly in a lovely space. And right in front of you, there are two bowls, both blue in color. The first one is full of nuts and a big potato. And the second one is full of nuts. You try to pay attention to see what's happening inside the bowls. When you look at the first one, you still see the nuts and a big potato. And when you concentrate on the second one, you see one nut transforming into a crystal-like nut. While you're still amazed, the second nut transforms. As your eyes are glued inside that bowl, the third one follows, the fourth one, the fifth one, and eventually the whole bowl is full of nuts that glitters like crystals. Kindly open your eyes and give me a feedback on this answer. If you were a nut, in which bowl would you want to belong? The first one or the second one? Also briefly state as to why. Kindly put your answers on the chat board. Thank you. Answers are coming forth. Most of the leaders, they want to be on the second bowl, simply because there is transformation. There is a verb that says, if you want to go alone, if you want to go faster, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Leaders that ignite a spark that transforms success do not go alone. They go with others. They don't remain in spaces bigger, more prominent, like that potato in that first bowl. But these kind of leaders, they transform first, because leadership is not only about positions of authority, titles, or corner offices, but it is about taking charge of those under your care in a way that transforms their lives to greatness. As leaders, we are mostly tempted to go faster and be ahead of others. But these leaders that ignite success, they take other leaders along with them and grow with them. Then now, what makes these leaders impactful? Because you can only ignite a spark where there is impact, where there is transformation. These leaders are not just about holding greater positions, but they are purpose-driven. And they make sure that where they are, they ignite sparks that create lasting success, not just results. Impactful leaders are leaders that are purpose-driven. They don't just lead, but they know why they lead. They don't just perform, but they transform. These leaders are observant. They pay attention to what needs to be achieved, as well as the people under their care. They make sure that they don't just concentrate on processes, but they transform lives. They transform organization and their team. They change potential individuals to create teams that thrive. These kind of leaders are able to balance results and humanity. They don't just perform to tick boxes. but they create lasting success. Therefore, they care for the well-being of those under their care. I am immediate past division director in District 129. When I took up the role of a division director, the reason was for me to grow as a person, as a leader. But what I had in my heart was that I wanted to create transformation. I wanted to make an impact for each and every member. I wanted to ignite hope that we can all transform to greater leaders. Because I still believe that we are all called to purposes that are greater than what we think we are called for. As a division director, when I started, that's when it sank in that this purpose is bigger than what I thought it was. My division achieved a presidential distinguished level. It didn't happen by accident. That's what I was focused to achieve. That's the purpose that I had, that come 30th of June, 2025, I want to could have achieved a presidential distinguished level that will contribute to the district. I wouldn't have done that alone. I came as a purpose-driven individual, but together with a team, we make a greater igniting source of transformative success. I made sure, firstly, that I formulate together with the area directors and other members of the division, a division council. The reason why I concentrated to other leaders, not only the area directors, was because I wanted other leaders to learn what it was all about so that we create a succession plan. After formulating the division council, I made sure that I connected with each and every member personally. We met as a council regularly. I ironed the first thing first. I worked with a team that we needed to achieve what was more important, which was the members of the division. We know in leadership, in Toastmasters, we concentrate on educationals as well as growing the membership. So now I worked with the leaders to focus on retaining the current membership as well as growing other members. How did we do it? I inspired them and worked with them that we connect with each and every member, regardless of the positions in leaders in Toastmasters. So we committed, not just complied, to visit all clubs under our care. We didn't visit those clubs as potatoes, but we visited them as nuts among nuts. We took up roles. We committed to our educationals, our pathways. We committed to our projects and delivered our speeches because we wanted to lead by example. The reason why we connected with each and every member of the division, it was because we wanted to work close with them so that when we needed things, they wouldn't feel like we just only reach out when we need things, but we wanted them to feel that we cared as their leaders. That connection ignited the spark that transformed the division. Hence, we were able to achieve the president distinguished level. We didn't earn it by accident. We worked for it together with all members of the division. With that story, I want us to reflect as leaders. Are we leading to make impact where we are, or we just managing to tick boxes? Fellow leaders, we are called to transform the spaces that we occupy. Let me pause for now and ask a question. What will be said about the role that you're leading currently 20 years from now, either whether you're still here or not? It's only impact that will make people not to forget about you. They may forget about the results, but they will never forget the impact that you would have made. Let's look at the traits that these leaders that ignite success have. I mean, the impactful leaders. These leaders are purpose-driven. They don't just lead. They know why they lead. Their why is what keeps them going, even when the journey challenges them. These kind of leaders are clear on the impact that they want to make. They are clear as to why do they want to make such impacts. One leader that shows that trait clearly for me, it's the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. During the apartheid regime in South Africa, this leader faced a lot of challenges when he tried. When he fought for freedom. He was jailed for 27 years, but he didn't allow the challenges to take away the dream, the vision that he had to liberate his people. He had a vision to ignite hope in the nation. He communicated his vision clearly with humility, not with power. He worked together with his enemies to achieve the vision. That is a transformational, impactful leader. Secondly, these kind of leaders are resilient. They've got courage. When they encounter challenges, they don't look at them as setbacks, but they look at them as opportunities to greatness. They do not allow circumstances to stop them in achieving what they've set their minds to. They lead even if it is uncomfortable to lead. They keep on moving because their whys are clear. Mahatma Gandhi is one leader that exemplifies that for me. He fought for the Indians in India and moved to fight even in African countries. He faced a lot of challenges, but he never looked at those challenges as setbacks. He moved on until he transformed the spaces. Today, there are people who are benefiting from the actions that he made. Thirdly, these kind of impactful leaders, they've got a capacity to inspire and to empower. These are the leaders that do not want to grow alone, but they make sure that they grow with others. One leader that exemplifies that for me, it's Bram Memon. Bram committed to his own personal growth, but because he wanted to empower others, he changed it. Today, he's transforming the world because he's looking into empowering other leaders, not just to be leaders, but to be self-directed leaders who critically make decisions when they think. If it wasn't for that leader, we wouldn't be connecting today. You wouldn't be listening to my speech today. But for that impactful leader that inspired, that spark and ignite transformational success, today we are here. Then what kind of a leader are you today? Are you a leader that wants to live success, that wants to transform spaces with humility, with emotional intelligence, in a way that you don't only care about yourself, but you care about others under your care? As leaders, what can we do then to be those kind of leaders that ignite and catalyze success, not just success, but lasting success? Firstly, we need to clarify our whys. Why are we leading? Why do we want to be leaders, either in our careers, in our homes, in the community? Because whether you like it or not, you are a leader. Therefore, choose to be an impactful leader. Be clear on what you want to achieve, what impact you want to make, and commit to that. Rather, you work on yourself to be a transformational leader than to just not do anything. Because, as I have said, whether you like it or not, there are people who are looking up to you. Others, you know them. Others, you don't know them. Rather, transform yourself to change the status quo. Secondly, let us build trust. Let us connect authentically with other people. Do what you say. Don't say something and do something else in a way that people tend to be confused as to whether what are you all about. If you lead people authentically in a way that you are trustworthy, it becomes easy for people to buy into your vision, to follow you. Because before people buy into a leader's vision, they buy into the person first. If you promise something, make sure that you deliver and go beyond, other than not doing anything. Thirdly, let us learn to build changes and make legacy. When you make a decision, when you take an action, look at what impact it will have. Don't just do something for today, but do something today that will impact your tomorrow or other people's tomorrow. What kind of traits are you currently building as a leader to be an impactful leader, to bring success that is lasting? I challenge each and every member in the next 30 days, make sure that you build traits that will create impact in your life and in the lives of those close to you. Therefore, you don't need positions to work on yourself and create greatness. Is your leadership igniting a spark that catalyzes success? Lydiah once said, a leader takes people where they want to go. A great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but ought to go and be. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
That was softly, beautifully put across how you need to transform people. And whatever you shared was the practices that is always spoken about here at Leadership Speak. Purpose-driven leaders not perform, but we transform, always through success. Thank you very much for that speech, Toastmaster Nocawe. We're going to now quickly move on to the next segment, which is all the prepared speeches. And the first speaker that we have on our list today is Toastmaster Pulkit Gupta, can you kindly, thank you very much. Good to have you here. How are you?
Jyothi, I'm fine. How are you?
Okay, super. Good to see you. And I'm going to request your evaluator to please come on stage, the virtual podium, E.J. McDowell, who will share the purpose of your speech.
Okay. The purpose of his speech is for a competition about a year from now. That's all I have.
Well, thank you. Can you just confirm if the speech time, the time for the speech also, so the timer can watch out?
Okay, the timing of the speech is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you very much,
You're welcome.
Toastmaster McDowell. Pulkit Gupta. Essence. Essence, Pulkit Gupta. Over to you.
If you have been at the La Valencia Resort in the B city of Goa in India in December 2024, you would have seen me sitting at the corner of the resort alone. The company I'm working for has flew 30 of us down for a professional retreat. It was supposed to be fun. But as I look to my right and to my left, and I see empty seats at my table, I'm not having fun. But this feeling of loneliness is not new to me. All my life, I have tried making friends, but making friends require you to be cool, and I am not cool. Being cool for me is hard, if not impossible. As I look across a couple of tables, I see a group of my colleagues, who I call the Cool Colleagues Gang, having the time of their lives. Their table is full of laughter, of fun, and of gossips. I see Siddharth from operations, who I consider to be the coolest guy I know, and the cool people from HR and operations and engineering having fun. As I look at them, and then I look down at my half-eaten sandwich, I sigh. Because there was a time when I thought I was cool. In 2009, I was in 9th grade, and it was the start of the school day. The teacher was not in yet, and children were having the fun of their lives. And if you would have been there in that class, you would have seen a corner desk next to the door, and you would have seen me sitting with a friend. As I look to my right, I don't see an empty chair. I see an actual friend, and I too am having fun that day. Through the laughter and the gossips and the discussions, I see my gymmer classmate walking through the corridor, and as he passes us by, he stops. He looks at my friend, and then he looks at me. He looks at my friend, and then he looks at me, and then he looks at my friend and says, "Why are you sitting with this nerd?" My friend looks at me and then looks at him and says, "Well, this nerd helps me with my homework." My reality was shattered that day. I thought I had a friend because I was cool, but turns out he was my friend because I helped him with his homework. And the next few days of school and the few years and the 4 years of college, I had just tried to be cool, but to no avail. I thought professional life would be different. New place, new job. But here I was, sitting at the corner of La Valencia Resort in Goa in India, all alone, with no one to my left and no one to my right. I finished my sandwich, let out a big sigh, put my head down, and I pass the Cool Colleagues Gang having the time of their lives. But I know my presence is oblivious to them. I go there and sit by the pool. Pulkit, will you accompany us to the beach? I hear Siddharth asking me. I couldn't believe I was being asked by the cool colleagues gang themselves. But you see, it was a whole day of travel. I'm tired. And I was about to say no, but then a voice inside me squealed. This is why you are lonely and friendless. And perhaps this is why you will be unmarried. So I look at Siddharth and say, game on, buddy. I am in. 15 minutes later, we are cruising and flying down the streets of Goa. And I finally feel I have arrived in the realm of friendship. But the road that day had a different plan. A patch of gravel just a few 100 feet off the beach ensured that the two-wheeler I was in flew upside down. As I saw the road coming close, all I could think was, I can't believe this is happening to me. And I can't believe it's happening on the day I'm not wearing a helmet. And wham! The two-wheeler crashed on the road. There was dust and commotion all around. But as the dust settled, I realized I'm still alive. But then I see the school HR lady who was accompanying us in the back in a different scooter exclaim, Pulkit, you are bleeding. And as I touched my forehead, my hands turned red. But then I see Siddharth exclaiming, cool down, everything will be all right. He offers his hand to me and gently ensures I get up. He positions me at the back of his scooter, searches for the nearest clinic, and within minutes, we are cruising through the Goa streets to find a clinic nearby. At the clinic, he calls his mother, who is a doctor, and ensures that whatever the clinic people are suggesting is indeed the right treatment plan for me. As I get stitched, he even offers to stay inside the room to assure me, which I politely decline. As I exit the clinical room and head to the reception, I see the entire cool colleagues gang sitting there. The girls cheer me on, assuring me everything is all right. One of them even tells me her story of her getting stitches and how it has now simply vanished. I am definitely relieved. The cool men from the gang and Siddharth and his friends call a cab at this hour of the night and ensure I am safely seated at the front while they seat in the back. Through the entire journey to the resort, they keep on assuring me that everything will be all right. At the resort, Siddharth offers me to accompany me to my resort room. And as he ensures that I sit in my room, he assures me that he's just a phone call away if anything is there that I need. And he closes the door behind me. In this dimly lit room, as I sit on my comfy bed, I realize that Siddharth and his friends are not cool because they are loud and cool and brash and perhaps more cooler than I could ever be. They are cool because they have a heart that cares. And in this dimly lit room, to my now dimmed out pain, I finally realize the essence of being cool. And that day, for the first time, to that commotion and pain, I finally managed to smile. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much. And that is one of our self-directed leaders who wants to be Mr. Cool. Now we move on to the next speaker. The lady with the big smile and a large, generous heart. Toastmaster Nicole Whyte. May I invite you to the virtual stage, please? Thank you. And I would like to invite her speech evaluator, our very own Paramjit Singh. Toastmaster Paramjit, thank you. May I request you to kindly read out the speech purpose? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster Nicole is presenting a speech from the path Dynamic Leadership, and the path name is Writing a Speech with Purpose. And the project purpose is, purpose of this project is for the member to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Back to you, Toastmaster today.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Paramjit. Toastmaster Nicole Whyte. Voice. Voice, Nicole Whyte. Over to you.
When I was growing up, my siblings and I loved listening to my mom's stories about her childhood drama performances. She had a flair for drama and a deep love for poetry. That resulted in her teaching us poems, and of course, we had to recite them in front of her and our imaginary audience. I was the quiet one, the shy one, believe it or not, hiding in the shadows of my two very outspoken siblings. But my mom refused to let me stay there. She encouraged me to express myself with confidence. It was her way of saying, you belong here, you have something to say, speak up, use your voice. There she was, face gleaming with admiration, satisfaction, and pride. Her smile, wider than the Atlantic Ocean, and her clap was louder than a thunderous applause at a major award show. Think America's Academy Award, or better yet, imagine your favorite celebrity winning big, and you are right there in the front row cheering your heart out. That was my mom. At the time, I thought it was just fun. Now, I realize it was preparation. I was being groomed to use my voice before I even knew what it meant to use it. I began to step forward, and I had the spark. And over time, my spark spread like wildfire. I was no longer the shy girl. Instead, I transformed and confidently stood in front of several different rooms. One such room was Jamaica's National Training Agency, affectionately known as Heart NSTA Trust. There, I trained young adults who had fallen through the cracks of the formal education system. But then they were labeled as unattached youths. My job wasn't just to prepare them for interviews or help them with the skills they needed to contribute to the country's productivity. It was also to restore belief, to remind them, just like my mom did, that they too have something to say, that they mattered, that they too have a spark that needs to be ignited. There were days when I had to lobby on their behalf, times when I had to be their cheerleader, moments when I celebrated the potential that society and systems had long overlooked. Many of them had been told directly or indirectly that they would never succeed. Society had written them off. but I wouldn't. They were my potential. My voice was their anchor. Ladies and gentlemen, that period was one of the most fulfilling moments of my professional life. Fast forward to today. Yes, today. As an HR professional, during strategic meetings, I share solutions that transform and drive results. I've become someone who notices when things aren't working and says something about it. I also use my voice through my Instagram page at Glory Pursuit 7. I create and share faith-based content that empowers and inspires my audience. My social media page is intentional because I believe that when words are rooted in truth, they can change the very trajectory of someone's life and carry them through life's toughest moments. I stand here today before you as someone who was once afraid to speak. Look at me now. I'm connecting with you, wonderful people. Thanks to this premier community, Leadership Speak, I've stepped into a new room and onto a powerful stage. My voice now travels across platforms. Hello, YouTube. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, your voice was never meant to be silent. Speak up, because your voice might be the spark someone has been waiting for. So go ahead, ignite someone's fire with your voice. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nicole. Your voice, loud and clear. And that is a very interesting message you had. Your Instagram post. And your voice is the anchor. Thank you. Now we move on to the third speaker. Our third speaker for this afternoon is Ghada. And to evaluate her speech, we have our very own self-directed leader, distinguished Toastmaster, Tony Brasher. May I invite him on the virtual podium, please?
Okay. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much. See you, Tony. All right, fine.
So thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Last Sunday, Ghada contacted me to get the evaluation procedure set in place. It was last Sunday. And since then, we have exchanged information. And Ghada is working on her presentation mastery pathway. And she's at level 2, project 2, which is understanding your communication style, or in this case, understanding Ghada's communication style. Ghada understanding her own style. There's 3 aspects to this evaluation. The first purpose is for Ghada to learn about different communication styles and identify her primary one, the one she likes the best. The second purpose is for Ghada to share the impact of her style on others. So how that favorite style of hers had an impact on other people. And then the additional evaluation aspects, such as Ghada asked me to look at the flow of the content, the clarity of the message, and the body language. So let's support Ghada with some comments, and looking forward to this. So back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much for that, DTM Tony. Yeah, before I can invite our speaker, Ghada, I'm going to Welcome our lovely guests who are here. And may I request Zara to kindly post the guest book. We will be happy to have information, and we would request you to wait in at the end of the session so we can connect with you. Thank you. Over to my speaker, Ghada. Ghada, the accidental leader, starting over, speaking up, and spreading change. Starting over, speaking up, and spreading change. Ghada, over to you.
You know, I have the kind of face that reminds people of their problems. They have, or they take one look and go, oh, no, I need to fix my life. And before I know it, bam, we are halfway into a therapy session in the grocery store line. My name is Ghada. I am a family counselor and a mental health advisor. But I didn't exactly plan to become one. My journey didn't start with a dream. It started with a baby. The day I held my son, my first son, I realized I had no idea how to parent, except knowing for things that I didn't want to repeat. That moment of raw or honesty became a turning point in my life. It ignited a hunger to learn, a mission to grow. I dove into books on parenting, psychology, emotional intelligence, healthy relationship, and one book led to 10 more. One certificate unlocked another. I became a student of life. And as I grew, I found myself being called to help others grow too. From Damascus, Syria, to the UAE, to my new home here in Canada, my journey always revolved around learning and teaching, facing challenges, making mistakes, rising again, and then reaching back to help someone else to do the same. Starting over in a new land added a layer to my story. I know firsthand how disorienting it is to rebuild your life from scratch. The cultural shock, the identity crisis, the invisible pressure to prove myself again. Over the years, I've walked beside individuals, couples, and especially immigrants through their most painful transition. Not just because I've learned to, but because I have lived. I've stood in those shoes one day. I still do. And you know what I've learned? Most of this work isn't about speaking. It's about listening deeply to what is said, and more importantly, to what isn't. It's about rebuilding dignity, restoring hope, and helping people reconnect to their inner strength and the people they love. Showing up with empathy and learning someone say, you helped me feel like myself again. So yes, maybe my face does remind people of their problems, But now I like to think it also reminds them of their potential, their resilience, of their right to healing and belonging. Today, I stand here not as a counselor, but as a leader with a mission to keep learning, to expand my education, to reach more hearts in both Arabic and English, to be part of a global shift towards justice, healing, and emotional empowerment. To use my voice, my story, and yes, even my face, to remind people that they are not alone, they are not broken, they are becoming. You never start from zero. You start from experience, from scars that became wisdom, from past victories that whisper. You've done hard things before. You can do this too. So, whether you are at square one or square 50, your journey is not about having it all figured out. You just don't give up. Leadership doesn't always start with the title. Sometimes it starts with a baby. Thank you. Back to you, Guest Master of the Day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ghada. Not alone, not broken. We start from experience, past hurts to victory. Thank you for that nice message. Now we move on to the fourth speaker, Toastmaster Angela Brown. To evaluate her speech, may I request Toastmaster Nellie? Is Toastmaster Nellie there?
I'm here.
Thank you very much. Over to you to read the purpose of her speech. Thank you.
I am Nellie Ayodo. The purpose of Angela Brown's speech is writing a speech with a purpose. She is doing motivational strategies, level 1. Her purpose statement is using my health journey to inspire others and show they are not alone. She has asked me to look out for her content and audience engagement. The speech title is From Sticky to Speaker. It is a 5 to 7 minute speech. Angela Brown, From Sticky to Speaker. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nellie. Angela Brown, sickly to speaker, Angela Brown. Over to you.
You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anyone. That's a quote by Maya Angelou. But what if society makes you think you have to feel differently? Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. As a child, I was very sick. So sick, in fact, that people stopped looking at me as being Angela and just looked at my condition. The name, the sickly one,
Sure, I guess. Angela?
outside playing. I
think connection, it's dropped.
I think I got cut off.
All right. Now you
Okay,
can go ahead. Thank you.
I'll start from where I left off. Even my beloved grandmother, whom I know loved me so much, would introduce me to her friends as, "This is my granddaughter, the sickly one." While other children were outside playing and having fun, I was indoors with loneliness and despair. I often looked outside and wondered what it would be like to just be normal and be outside running with the children. But I couldn't do it because my condition demanded I not have too much hyperactive activities. I remember when I came to Canada, and after I got an adult and I had my daughter, my mother, myself, and my daughter went out. My mom ran into somebody that she'd known for a long time, but hadn't seen in a little while. They looked at me, and she looked at my mom, and she said, "I'm sorry to hear about your daughter. Wasn't she the sickly one?" And I could feel like fire burning inside me. And I tried to say it as nicely and firmly as possible. "I am the sickly one." And the lady said, she was startled. She said, "Oh, I thought you were the one that died." I said, "No, that was my sister. She's the one who passed away." And I could feel the tears forming in my eyes. So I held my daughter's hand very tightly and I walked away so they couldn't see the tears streaming, coming down my face. Will that name always be with me? Will people always just see me as the sickly one and not who I am inside? I used to think that I had to earn love, respect, and a space in this world. But then I realized I shouldn't be seen by what I can't do, but I'd be seen for what I can do. That incident ignited something in me that I knew that I was going to show everyone, especially myself, that I am more than the way they see me. The doctors told me that I shouldn't have a child, but I had a child anyway, which is my greatest accomplishment. Then I became a 1, 2, 3 times published author. I'm a Toastmaster as I stand in front of you today, showing that I have a voice. I'm a Rotarian because I believe in giving back, doing service to the community. I'm a speaker. So I want to return to the quote that I began with. You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anyone. So what baggages and labels are you carrying around that people have placed on you? You are not your past. You are not your illness. You are more. You are enough. I am enough. Back to you, Madam. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Those were powerful words, Angela. You are not alone. You are enough. No need to prove to anyone. You are more than your past. Thank you. And I'm sure our guests here are listening and watching to what we do here at Leadership Speak. A wonderful guest. We're so delighted to have you here. And may I request all of you to kindly sign up in our guest book, and we will love to connect with you at the end of the session. Please do post on the chat box where you're signing in from. We'd like to see how many of you have enjoyed the session and certainly the effort we've put into it. Now that brings us to the end of the prepared speeches. May I now request our timer to post the time taken by each speaker, please. While we're getting that together, may I request for the polls to be posted for the best effort speaker. Dear guests, please go ahead and fill out the polls and encourage the effort that each member, each self-directed leader has put in. We look forward to your participation here. We have the polls out there.
Yes, it's still
Thank you
piling up.
very much, Gilda, for having that put out. And we'll give it some time for everybody to put it. Now, we will be moving in to a very important segment, a segment where I would now like to invite our general evaluator. For today's session, we have Toastmaster Nicole Whyte, who will take on the role of the general evaluator. May I invite Toastmaster Nicole Whyte, please?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Jyothi.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure to be our general evaluator for this week's meeting. Exciting theme, exciting people. I am going to be calling on Terrence Ware, our first evaluator, to evaluate our toast of our team that was done by Lydiah Wanjiku. Terrence?
Thank you, General Evaluator. Lydiah Wanjiku, proposing the toast this afternoon, this morning, or whatever time you might have joined us from. What I liked about this toast is that invitation. This is always very important. That involves the guests to unmute, raise their glasses, and raise the toast to leadership that catalyzes change. And you went ahead, sipped, and then invited or thanked the audience and handed it back to the Toastmaster of the day. That is an area that I found very effective because it engaged the audience and it summarized exactly what you had been or what your illustration had been about. Something else I also liked about this toast, looking at the speech, the structure and the content, was how you were able to bring in different tones. When you were mentioning or when you're talking about how there was quiet, you took a low tone. When you talked about the trembling hands, I could feel the fear in you. I could feel the sweat despite the cold in Nairobi for you in that case. And that was imagery that brought us into your world. there's one or two areas, I can talk about two areas that I recommend that you add or you improve so that you can propose an even more effective toast. First, this being a virtual meeting, I noticed that you are standing up. However, you are fixed on the right side. I would believe that would be my left, on the right side of the screen. That diminished the ability to use the rest of the screen. And the second thing was, I noticed a bit of a distraction. I believe you're reading from a script and it caused a bit of a distraction. So if you can maybe change the location, because I noticed you're glancing to your top left, or is it top right? That can really improve your delivery. Beyond that, congratulations on the delivery of this toast. I encourage you to keep working on those few areas and keep proposing these toasts, especially beyond leadership speak, where you get the opportunity in social meetings or social gatherings. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Terrence. I saw that you were able to pack in some very valuable feedback for Lydiah. And just to mention that you started out with what you like, where she excelled at, and showed some examples that can definitely benefit her. You did well, and all your recommendations was nicely put together. You spoke in good pace for her to take all of that in. So well done. I should have mentioned, as I stepped into this section, just for the benefit of our guests, I did mention that I'll be just starting out with calling on all evaluators to evaluate the speakers. And then, of course, at the end of the meeting, at the end of that, I will provide my thoughts surrounding the meeting. All right. And so next on the agenda, I would like to call on our evaluator for our Toastmaster of the day, the Queen of Straight Talk, Sandra Valks, and her view on our wonderful theme is that authentic leadership with a powerful vision is clearly encouraging and persuasive in getting others excited to participate full out. That's her view on the team. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. My honor today to be evaluating our Toastmaster of the Day, Jyothi Thomas. The objectives as the Toastmaster is managing online meetings. It's huge. You have to be the MC, the facilitator. And so Jyothi asked me to watch particularly whether she had excellent facilitation mixed in with her speaking skills. That's where we're starting. And of course, you are what I would call the queen of invitation. You're so welcoming in the way that you enter every activity that I see you in. You were very active in setting up this meeting. It seems like several weeks ago. I know it was at least 2 weeks ago because we're in the theme group where we're doing the work. So at least on July 18 there, I found your first title, which was Leadership Ignited, Catalyst for Success. By the time it got spewed around and around and around and around, I was getting dizzy in there. You ended up with today, Leadership that Catalyzes Success. I don't see what the difference is. Leadership Ignited, because we heard a lot of that ignited word today, which was beautiful. And I'm not really sure how much members actually dissect each word of that. So I would have been happy with that first title and still the write-up that we're here to ignite and so on. I love the way you opened up. It's a beautiful day. You bring that light. I mean, you can feel the beautiful day, and that sets the tone of how you're going to facilitate the meeting. It was wonderful. And I really enjoyed how you spoke in Indian in your own language to say whatever it was you said and tell us what it meant that guests are like the divine. We have so many cultures here. That would be a beautiful little piece to put in, just so, because even though I don't know what you said and I'm not going to learn the phrase unless I get to India, there's a way that other languages fall on our ear. So that was beautifully done. So you got the theme all set up beautifully in your presentation. You came, I call it bingo. Legacy is out there forever. That is huge. So whether it's you as an individual, you as a professional, you as a Toastmaster, you, I, all of us, each of us are our own legacy, and we're creating it. I love the way you connect the agenda moving with just little short connections in between. You made sure that the evaluators spoke first, so that when you were ready to introduce the speaker, you went from the introduction right into the speaker. I would invite anyone who's coming on as Toastmaster of the day to spend more time with the speakers and make sure that the introductions are more than just a title. Because the Pulkit, for example, such an energizing, high energy presentation, but I didn't have an introduction that set me up to hear that. So that's for Pulkit to create and use the Toastmaster of the day to work with it. Be amazing. Introductions can be 30, 45 seconds. They don't have to be just a title. But in closing, Jyothi, you do not need to worry about your facilitation style. You are personally passionate and you do ignite just because of who you are and the enthusiasm you bring to every job, every task that I've ever seen you bring. You're bringing all of us to be all that we can be. Thank you. Back to you, Nicole.
Thank you, Sandra, for that very detailed feedback for Jyothi. And I'm sure we all benefit as well when you provide your feedback. We can take a thing or two. I liked how you started out where you mentioned the objective of the speech, rather this task, which is preparing and managing an online meeting. That was very good. And what Jyothi communicated with you about in terms of what to observe or look out for her. And that would have been, yeah, so I commend you on that. Very thorough and very authentic, and really looking on the different speakers and taking that little chunks there, here and there, to say how it could be nicely weaved into the Toastmaster of the day's execution. Very good feedback. And I must hold the time against you, because by the time you were ready to go into your summary and recap, the red was already on. Sounds like you last week, right? So just be, I know you have a lot and a lot of takeaway to share. So just be mindful of that. But overall, very valuable feedback for our Toastmaster of the day and for us as well. So I'm moving along. Our next evaluator is Vinod. DTM Vinod. He's evaluating our leadership speaker, Nocawe. And for Vinod, his perspective on catalyst leadership: if a leader is not being catalyst to success, they are being catalyst to failure. Either way, a leader is a catalyst. The theme reminds him that a catalyst of success should be intentional. Vinod, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. When I was in school, my teachers used to say, "Don't be a nut." After listening to Nocawe's speech, I will go back to my teachers and say, it's good to be nut. Thank you very much, Nocawe, for that beautiful message. And instead of couch potato, I will say, don't be a bowl potato from today. What I absolutely loved about your speech and what came effective was you were dressed to kill. You actually felt like it's a red carpet and you were walking and you're sparkling the event. You took that role very seriously of a keynote speaker. So really commend you for that. The second is you mentioned about looking for confidence. You didn't use a single slide. Kudos for that, because I will consider this as a speech for an icebreaker for longer speech. I will not evaluate this as a keynote, but an icebreaker for a longer speech. In that respect, confidence was there throughout. And especially when you saw that green light, your confidence came a little bit more. You were happy at, oh yes, it's done. Then you started smiling and very enthusiastically you started speaking. And the opening of your speech was the highlight to me. I have never heard this impactful statement in a quite long time, but you didn't pause over there. So the statement was, are you leading to be important or are you leading to impact? Right? So that was the statement. You might have said that in a very easy way, but if you sit and think about it, it's a very deep statement. Are you leading to be important? That's all about yourself. Or are you leading to make an impact? That's all about others and servant leadership. Now, quickly, what I felt can be done. One is simple zoom things that what we say. The camera was not at your eye level, right? It was still, you were looking a little slide down. I think it would have been good if you could have looked up. The second is, I felt if you were making a salad and the amount of time you kept putting salt, this movement, if you see your recorded video throughout, you were having this movement, this. So you were making a salt salad, which I believe, like what you said, is not good for health and not good for speech also. Use an open palm, that would be much better. The second is structure of the speech. I will not go in complete details, but you had 5 stories. The bowl story, your division director story, then the story of NM, MG, and BM, Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, and Brahm Memon. 5 stories in 18 minutes. The crux of your entire speech was impactful leaders do know their why, connect, and make changes and create legacy. Layer your stories around that 3 point. I would have loved to see that. So overall, a very confident speaker who is improving day by day. I would love to see you on much bigger stages and giving professional speeches. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster, General Evaluator.
All right, thank you very much, Toastmaster Vinod. Another great evaluation. You just can't help the storytelling, so you have to start out with your little synopsis of the storytelling that you would take away from Nocawe's presentation. You covered a lot of recommendations. So I thought that with that, you ran out of time a bit and then start speeding up, right? By the time you got to that caution, reminding her of the number of stories, which is the 5 that she interjected in her message. So just to be cautious on that. But apart from that, excellent feedback, excellent listening skills, and critical thinking in your evaluation. Well done. So I'd like to call on our third evaluate, or first for the speeches, the prepared speech section. Our first evaluator for this section is EJ McDowell. Lovely EJ, may we have your evaluation for Pulkit, and EJ's thought on the leadership is on this theme is that leading with intense passion while shining a bright light for others. That's all about catalyst leadership. Over to you, EJ.
Thank you. My evaluation on becoming cool around others. Thank you, Pulkit, for your speech. It was passionate. It ignited excitement from the very start. Your question, what does it mean to be cool around others, immediately grabbed our attention and pulled us into a shared experience. Your opening was relatable and set the tone for a thoughtful message. One of your biggest strengths was authenticity. You didn't try to impress us, you connected with us. Your stories felt personal, and your natural tone made it feel like a conversation, not a performance. That is powerful. You also had great message clarity. Being cool isn't about fitting in, it's about being true to yourself. That landed well. In terms of improvement, a few transitions between ideas felt a little quick. Maybe slowing down just a little bit between sections would help us all absorb the message more fully. And also maybe a metaphor or of cool could have been stronger. You can consider pushing that further. Maybe contrast real cool with fake cool to give your message even more depth. Lastly, your energy dipped just slightly midway through. Adding a pause or a question can re-engage the room and lift the moment. Here are a few suggestions for you, Pulkit. Using a repeating phrase or a callback to add structure. Bring in one strong visual or metaphor that people can walk away with. And maintain a little bit more vocal variety to keep the emotional pace strong all the way through. In summary, this was confident, igniting, uplifting. It was a great message with wide appeal. With just a little bit more refinement and flow and emphasis, it could become truly unforgettable. And in closing, you didn't just tell us how to be cool, you modeled it. Thank you for showing that being cool starts with self-trust, honesty, and ease. You inspired us all to be more of ourselves, and that's a gift. Thank you for your speech today. And may you win the international contest. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, or General Evaluator.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm that EJ with bringing this across. I'm sure Pulkit is grateful for all your constructive feedback. That's this constructive feedback. I like how you said that Pulkit, you observed that he delivered with authenticity, and you delivered this evaluation in that same demeanor. You were authentic, you were real, you listened well, you gave constructive feedback with empathy. And even the way how the little things that you took from the speech, that's very good. It was critical thinking, obvious, because you shared takeaways and quotes that he mentioned, which was very good. Most important thing, you gave him an evaluation that set him up for success on that big stage that he's aiming for, international competition. So well done. I liked how you closed by telling him after you said you had some where he could improve. You mentioned it by sharing an example, for example, his energy that went down and how you made suggestion how he could improve there. And then in summary, you came back again and spoke about his confidence and his uplifting tone. And you took away that last thing. He didn't just show us how to show up, he modeled it. Well done, EJ. I think this was a very constructive evaluation. And I am moving over to our next evaluator, who will be evaluating Nicole Whyte. Oh, wait, that's me. Oh, yes. Where yours truly. And the evaluator is a Paramjit. Paramjit, please come and provide your feedback for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Nicole. Now for the Toastmaster, Nicole. Today, your presentation speaks a ton about a very clear, powerful message. Your voice is not meant to be silent, and your voice can transform others. You have inspired, strongly inspired, I would say, with your well-structured, well-written, well-presented, confident, energetic, and inspiring speech. And you engage us with your personal story about how a shy girl transformed into an anchor and presently available on all the social media. And you didn't stop here, but you followed it and help your students when the society has forgotten them. And not only you transform them, but I feel it's a noble cause of helping people find their roadmaps of life. This one of your student, maybe me also, because I was also in the same situation once a time. And now I was very shy. Now I generally speak a lot, I think. That was because there was some voice came into my life also. And you took the advantage of every tool available for a speech, vocal variety. I use it to very good advantage when you said your mother was saying, oh, you belong here, use your voice. Then synchronized gestures, particularly at the last time we say, look at me now. And you moved further in the front to the side to stress upon your points. And coming closer, that shows your emotion, and particularly your gesture, facial gestures. You are not using very high humor, but your smiling face added to the value what you are speaking, as well as it engaged everyone to the last. And you touched everybody's heart with your message. Now the third thing which you are working on, and I appreciate for all the what you have done today with your Zoom presence. Well, wonderfully done. You had a very good background, very good cloth, so that you worked on it, that your hand doesn't become ghost or anything of your body becomes ghost, and everything was very clear to us. You are well placed, and you are absolutely in the center. Your voice was clear, a very strong voice. Now, in this whole scenario, I feel you are at the best of everything. The only thing which you have already working on and you can work on is more better light on your face and little more voice, and you can adjust the way you are already adjusting your movements towards the camera with your strong voice, the strong your writing power, and the Zoom presence. I think you are really touching the 5 stars very soon. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Paramjit, for that detailed evaluation and feedback. I will definitely apply them. I like how you related your experience and your truth to my truth, which was you were once a shy person. And thank you for the takeaways where I can improve, where my lighting is concerned and my mic. All the various recommendations, I will take note of them. I appreciate your feedback. Wonderful. And I now call on our third evaluator for this section, Tony, who is evaluating Ghada. Tony believes leadership provides the strategy and executes the planning for everyone's success. Tony?
Hey, thank you, General. Thank you, General Evaluator, and hello, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, and especially you, Ghada. Ghada, you asked me to do 3 things. Check on the flow of the content of your presentation, the clarity of the message, and the body language. Now, I want to say that you combined the project of presentation mastery with art. And I'm going to explain that by describing 3 aspects of your journey of accidental leadership, as was part of your title. The 3 aspects are message, relevance, and delivery. First, the message. Very profound, lots of wisdom. You said that you believe the power of communication was not speaking, but deeply listening to what is being said, and importantly, what is not being said. Great message. Profound, powerful. That's active listening. Relevance, the second aspect. It's relevant to me and to the others because as self-directed leaders, we can sometimes help people heal. And it's important for us to find our own way, authentic way, to help people do so. And you shared your journey of accidental leadership and how you came to find your own way of helping people heal. And that's how you basically started your speech with a fantastic hook. You said immediately that your face reminds people of their problems. Yeah, I was hooked. I had to find out. So you had me, you had us at the very beginning. And then you provided the flow of information through a series of tricolons. Fellow Toastmasters, did you notice how many times Ghada had grouped three phrases together? That was musical. For example, one tricolon set was, everyone has the potential, the resilience, and the right to heal. There's three things, tricolon. Another set was that you use you use your voice, your story, and your face to help people heal. So this delivery was not accidental as part of your title. It was well scripted and delivered. Recommendation. Your gestures were very good. They were patient, well-paced, and smooth-flowing. However, you were a conductor, the maestro of this orchestra of tricolons and beautiful information. So therefore, I would ask that you accent your gestures occasionally to be more dramatic at the crescendos of your musical message, such as when you talked about everyone has the potential, the resilience, and the right to heal. That's when you could have changed your pace a little to increase the crescendo of those salient points. Now, therefore, as the maestro of this orchestra, you wrote a beautiful script. You had a musical flow of tricolons that delivered a heartwarming message. With a slight adjustment of the use of your maestro gestures to help increase the crescendo, you would provide further impact. So this was not just an excellent speech. It was a masterful and artful presentation that delivered a powerful message, warmed our hearts, and inspired us to be better self-directed leaders. Way to go, Ghada. Well done. Beautiful job. Back to you, GE.
Right. Thank you so much, Evaluator Tony. I think we had a little hiccup there with our you not being spotlighted. Yeah, so that's very excellent, energetic, enthusiastic, well-structured, valuable feedback for Ghada. And just in terms of how you started out, highlighting the speech objective, which is very important, and if what she delivered, the message or content met that objective. You set the tone from the beginning, which is good. You made it clear that what you will be covering, you'll be covering three aspects of the areas that was mentioned by Ghada, and the information you had was so well packed. It's only 3 minutes. That's the only thing I will caution, that it's just not feasible to cover everything. So the suggestion, you could go ahead, share, keep in mind of the time, and then share additional information off screen with Ghada. But overall, excellent evaluation. Thank you. Moving on to our fourth speaker's evaluation. That's Nelly Ayodo. She is evaluating our final speaker that presented earlier, Angelo. Please, Zubasta, kindly spotlight Nelly. Thank you so much. Hello, Nelly.
Hello. Oh, thank you very much.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so you may go ahead, please. Thank you.
Angela Brown, you excelled at using dialogue to convey your message. Your story was inspiring, motivating, powerful. You started with a quote, "You alone are enough." That's a powerful quote by a powerful person, Maya Angelou. You aroused my emotions by telling me how you defied all odds to live life on your own terms. You did not want to be defined as sickly, and you went ahead and got a daughter despite the fact that you were advised not to. You were living life on your own terms. You are defining who you are, You alone are enough. That's powerful. It shows your determination to overcome things that you are put against. Your message was very well structured and you used very good transitions. You asked me to look out for audience engagement. I checked in the chat and the reaction was inspiring and very encouraging. So you met that objective. You may want to work on adding tonal variety into your message. Your message was emotive. You would have lowered your voice when you're saying how your mother's friend, you met your mother's friend, and she asked whether you are the sickly one, whether she had passed. You held your daughter's hand. I could actually vividly see that. And you turned and went the other way. You used the visual stage very well for that scene. I like that you're honest and open. This brought out the authenticity of your message. All in all, I say that your speech was wonderful, very inspiring, and very motivating. Your content was well structured. You had good audience engagement, and you were authentic by telling a story that illuminated your message. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster, Madam General Evaluator.
Very enlightening, encouraging, and uplifting feedback. Thank you, Nelly. This was very constructive, and you did excellent with your timing, and the essence and value came out within that 3 minutes. I like how you clearly stated the structure of the speech. If Angela met that, you brought in that human touch with what you observe, and you felt what Angela felt and what she tried to bring across to her audience. This is a beautifully done evaluation because you made note of where the speaker can improve. It's always about the speaker, and as well as what was the audience takeaway? How did the audience benefit as well? And you did a wonderful summary. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well done. All right, that's it for our evaluation and report. I now ask the timer if you could kindly place the timing in the chat. That would be great. For the evaluators, if you are ready, that would be great. And I'll also call on if the Zoom master could launch the poll for the best effort evaluator. That would be great as well. Thank you so much, Timer Nicole. All right, let me move on now by calling our group for our grammarian report. And so with that said, I call on our grammarian, Joyce, to present our report. Hi there, Joyce.
Hi everyone. Good evening from Kenya. And morning, depending with where you are. Today, I must admit that we had very eloquent speakers, and I did not pick any improper use of English. I can also pick that we had several people use the word of the day, ignite. So we had Jyothi use it twice, Lydiah used it once, Nocawe used 4 times, that's my start today. Nicole used it twice, Angela once, and Sandra used it once. I was able to pick very good usage of quotes. starting with Nicole when she started by saying, are you leading impact? Or are you leading to be important? For us, I think that's a very good takeaway. I also picked, she also said, if you want to go faster, go alone. And if you want to go further, you go with others. She also mentioned that a leader takes people where they ought to go. Our next speaker, also Nicole Whyte, she also said hiding in the shadows when she was speaking about hiding behind her siblings. She also mentioned Sandra's applaud. Also, my words are rooted in truth, and your voice was never meant to be silent. That was really good. Sandra also talked about not alone, not broken. And to the next speaker, Angela Brown, she started with a very powerful quote from May Angela, you alone are important. She also said, you alone are enough. You are nothing to prove to anyone. And last but not least, Vinod, while he was giving his evaluation, he said, dress to kill, meaning how the speaker dressed. Back to you, our general evaluator.
Excellent. Thank you, Joyce. Well done with your report, and you are right on the mark for the timing. I really appreciate how you shared your takeaway and quotes from the various speakers. You managed to get about 3 in from the leadership speaker, and they were all valuable and what should I say? Appropriate for your report, as well as the other speakers. You listened keenly, grammarian. It takes that active listening skills, and you executed well today. Well done. I'll now give my overall thoughts on the meeting. I believe it's another well, I'm not saying it's, I believe it was another excellent meeting today. We had all role players stepping up, and thank you so much, especially our Toastmaster of the day, Jyothi, with our warm presence. You had a very good introduction, and you were evaluated already anyway, but just for your execution, the behind the scene with championing your team, and we had some last minute changes, but as leadership speak, we're always ready. I remember is ready and equipped to step up. I'll start with the greeting this morning. At the beginning of the meeting, Bram, who filled in for our greeter, as usual, Bram is always warm and inviting with our guests. He made sure while we were there talking before 9:30, his eyes were glued, keen eyes. As soon as a guest or our member entered the room, we stopped and he acknowledged. And that's exactly what the connection looks like, especially the authentic one. For Sergeant of Arms Wahinga, you did an exceptional job, excellent delivery. You were clear, confident, poised, calm, and you had a beautiful pace. Great job. There were no itches with your role and how you delivered the Sergeant of Arms today. The timer, I know Nicole seemed to have some hiccup here and there today where the timer background did not come up at the time according to our standard. So that is something that we will all look into, and she will definitely evaluate, but managed to have it done throughout the rest of the meeting. And I don't recall seeing the speaker's time in the chat. If it was, then I apologize. So if it was there, it could be overlooked, but I didn't recall seeing it. I know it was not there timely, so that's something again we can look out for. But all in all, thank you, timer, for your keen timing and making sure that everyone was within their scheduled time by showing those virtual colors. So again, our preparation was evident for another meeting, and thanks everyone who delivered and did show up today on another stage. Catalyst leaders, back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nicole Whyte, for stepping up and taking a dual role. So typically, self-directed leaders We are proactive, and you truly displayed that today. Thank you for the detailed observation that you shared, and I'm sure our guests will see how much of work goes into it and why we are the Premier Club. While we are doing that, we have one more speaker. At this point, I'm going to request Toastmaster Alfin Abrar to deliver the thought of the day. Can we have him spotlighted, please? Thank you very much. Over to you for your thoughts of the theme.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Leadership that catalyzes success. This theme ignites my spirit on being a leader that accelerates success. Leader is a skipper who set the sail. I thought I need to be a club president first, an area director first, then I can start my leadership. Turns out, I don't need to wait to become a leader. I can lead now. At least I can lead myself. Catalyze success. It can't be done alone. If you want to go fast, you just go alone. If you want to go far, you need to go together. This is the 100th time I listened to this quote. But tonight, it is different. In today's inspiring meeting, my mindset is ignited. I want to go fast, or I want to go far. I'm inspired to reinvent a new quote. If you want to go fast and far, you need a great leader complemented with a great team. I remember Eliud Kipchoge, the world record holder for marathon, had been told, nobody can do a marathon below 2 hours. That was the only statement he needed to prove it wrong. You may think that marathon is a lone effort. It isn't. There is the pacers who keep Kipchoge on track. There is the consumption team who keep Kipchoge hydrated. There are the cheers to make sure he stays motivated. Kipchoge ignited his team to work together. With a great leader, complemented with a great team, you can go fast and far. Leadership speak, be a leader that ignites, leadership that catalyzes success. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Can you see my face? I'm smiling. Oh, wow. Alfin, you brought it out so well. Definitely, we are looking at going far, and we're all in it together. It was such an internalized thought of the day, and I couldn't stop smiling looking at you. Well, that's where we have guides who support every role we do. And this is one mark where we can tell not too many clubs have it. And this is something I would like to share with all our guests. We work together, we uplift each other. That's why we are this far. Please go ahead and sign up in the guest book so we can connect with you. With that, may I request for the awards to be posted so we know who the best effort speaker is. We will also have the founder, DTM Brahm Memon, who will be connecting with our guests. If you have any questions, anything you would like to know, please go ahead and put it out on the chat box. Once we have the winners' certificates displayed, we will connect with you. Thank you very much, Zara. The best evaluator. Okay, it's nice to have that little suspense. Put your hands together and let's easy. Congratulations. The best effort speaker like we always say at leadership, Nicole Whyte. Well, congratulations. Thank you very much. And I know we just said best effort speaker and everybody put in your best. Congratulations to everyone who came up on stage and especially for those who were chosen as the best effort speaker. But that brings us to almost to the end of the show. Before we go ahead and wrap, I'm going to request our founder, DTM, Brahm Memon to take over from here. Thank you. The audio needs to be turned on. We can't hear you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Jyothi. Much appreciated. Welcome, everyone, or should I say goodbye, everyone. But before we do that, and before we close the meeting, we have some guests here, some wonderful, amazing guests here today that have engaged in the guest book, as well as some of them on the chat here. So thank you very much for being engaged as a guest. We have some guests that I would like to talk to, and some of them have completed our guest book. I'm just looking at the guest book over there. But we have a Tsegaye from Ethiopia that I had a conversation with perhaps about a week or 10 days ago. Tsegaye, are you there? And could you put on your video for us?
Yes, good evening. I'm here.
Good to have you. And
Thank
how
you
did
very
you
much.
find this particular meeting?
As always, it was great. It was awesome. I had another productive evening with Read to Speak Club. I had a lot of takeaways. I learned a few new things. And as always, yeah, I enjoyed every minute of the meeting. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. And I look forward to you completing your level 3 so you can join when you are ready. Hopefully before October, right?
Inshallah, yes. That's the plan.
That's the
Thank you
plan.
very much.
Exactly. Thank you very much. We have also Sonia Morelle. Hi, Sonia. How are you?
Good evening.
Good to have you back, Sonia.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be in this meeting today as well.
Good, good. And how did you find this meeting? I know that you've applied actually to be in the club as well in September, I believe, right?
Yes, yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. The meeting was insightful.
Mm-hmm.
I took some nuggets specifically where we were taught about leadership, how to behave as a leader. I enjoyed that session and the preparation of the speakers as well.
Wonderful.
And also the evaluation as well. I took some nuggets. It helps us to grow as well. Thank you.
And please keep coming back until September when you are ready to become a member then. All right. Thank you, Ms. Sonia. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
The next guest that I can see here is Tirune Fasil. Tirune, are you there?
Thank you very much. Yes, I am.
And I see that you've completed our guest book, Tirune, right?
Yes, I did.
And now you've indicated that you didn't want to be a member of Leadership Speak, but you've also said that you would like to speak and be evaluated here. So you can only do that if you are a member to begin with. That's when you can come and speak and be evaluated or be part of the meeting. But how did you find today's meeting, by the way?
I find your meeting today to be full of energy, enthusiasm, and experience sharing. I really would love to attend your meeting again. As I told, maybe I was a bit late to join because I had some other commitments. But next time I will be in time, and then I will enjoy the meeting.
Wonderful. Tirune, are you in Ethiopia as well? Can't hear you. All right, we don't have any sound from Tiruna at the moment. It's been cut off. Oh,
Yeah.
you're driving?
Please come back up.
Yeah, but I'm back. Huh? Sorry.
Where are you speaking from, Tiruna?
From Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
I guess that's where you would be from your name. Please do come next week as well. We are 7 hours apart. We start at 9:30 a.m. at Toronto time. We are in District 86. So that's 4:30 your time, I believe. 7 hours apart. We'll see you then.
Thank you very much.
Saturday we are here. Thank you very much. And Sashini Stone, how's your journey going on along? Are you sort of shooting towards your level 3 completion yet?
I am. I'm working very hard at it and expect to be there quite soon.
I know you are gung-ho. I mean, after coming to this club, when you go back, I mean, to your own club, what happens there?
A transition.
Good. I hope you can take this energy back to your club and inspire them.
Thank you. Thank you for it. Today was awesome. You guys are evaluation machines and I love it. Thank you.
And EJ's evaluation was just awesome, wasn't it? Just out of this world. Well prepared. All right, Sashini, take care and we'll talk to you soon. Hopefully by September or October, right? Ready to go? I know Nicole is mentoring you, so that's a great thing. Yay, Nicole. All right. Let's see who else is there that we can talk to. I've already talked to Tariq Hussain a couple of weeks ago, and I've been talking to him on WhatsApp. So thank you very much. Tariq is from Pakistan. Let's see who else is here that we can talk to as a guest. I don't think we have any more. Can anyone spot anyone who's a new guest? All right. I don't think we have. So in that case, Jyothi, thank you so much for being the TMOD, and over to you, Jyothi.
Thank you very much, Bram. I would now officially adjourn the meeting. However, we will be here for a little while if those